now tuned in to 1718 Collective Virtual Museum. I am your host and curator, Zosa. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Today we have a special guest with us in the building. We have Erin Bockler in the building. I've been trying to work on that all day and I still messed up. But thank everybody for tuning in. You know we do this every Wednesday on our Instagram Live at 8 o'clock. We also put it up on YouTube after we actually post it up on our live. You can check out all the virtual museum, 1718 Collective Virtual Museums on our YouTube page by subscribing to S.STREET Media. Well, thank you for joining us today. You have a very large collection of paintings. You're always doing work. Can you tell us a little bit about your pieces? We actually got this one on the camera right now.
So this piece is newer. I got the idea from a sketch. I was just sort of playing with color. I like that red, gray, gold, black, and thinking about balance of the three figures. So I play with the figures basically most of my work. And this one was from behind, just sort of thinking about the shapes behind and the shapes in front and how they relate to each other. And always just trying to get rhythm and balance at the same time. There's something about them standing still but moving, sort of how that duality works.
I'm definitely like, I'm gonna zoom in so people can actually see the colors on it. Actually see some of the textures on the painting as well too. You draw a lot of females.
Yes, I do.
Is there any particular reason behind it?
I guess my work is about the power of femininity. So it usually comes from a more personal level. So a lot of the figures, even though they don't look like me necessarily, they are kind of what I'm going through at the time or thinking about. I came from an all-women's art school, so the idea of just strong feminine self is important to me. So men ask me all the time to draw them, and I do draw male portraits from time to time, but I haven't done any male nudes. I think it's just what I've done naturally, and now it's come like what I do. So I guess maybe at some point I'll put in a man in there for, I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know this is something I spoke with a lot of artists. A lot of artists feel like the female body is a lot more beautiful than the male body. So
I use the female because I like the organic, curvaceous nature of it, and there's a lot of fun things you can do with the body. You know, I kind of sometimes look at it just as a form and as an object, not to objectify it, but as an object to draw and to sort of play with in shape. But also, again, I paint from a personal level, so if I'm painting a portrait of a man nude, it's got to be, I need to know there's got to be something richer in it than just drawing a male.
Totally understand. We were talking about that earlier, like all the stuff from like Greece and Italy, those type of paintings.
Yeah,
like,
I think
male figures.
I recently saw some work from a gay man that I really loved, who had a similar style. Maybe he's watching and knows who I'm talking about. But his work seemed relevant to him. And so for me right now, male nudes, unless I found, a male nude model that was special to draw a picture of, it just doesn't feel relative at the moment.
Totally understand. I like this one. This one actually looks like almost a reverse of the first one that we looked at.
So these two I actually made, so I tend to make a few at the same time, and they have similar materials. So these both are paint and pastel. So I was into that I kind of switch it up a lot, like what I'm working with. But I was interested in working with mixing those two materials so you can sort of see the pastel on top of them and seeing what pastel on canvas. So they are sort of from the same group.
No, I definitely like the colors you picked for the pastels on that one.
This one these two I wanted. You could see the breasts are similar and things like that in the way that I was drawn. And people are so uncomfortable with it, so it was meant to sort of be playing with the shapes and the rhythm of it, and not worrying so much that it's breasts and behind, that it's really just, it's a shape, it's a nude. and what they do on the paper. Because it was always said to me in art history, you know, once you put clothes on them, the story changes. Then it becomes about who this woman is and where they work or what they might be coming from. When they're nude, it's a nude. It's, you know, it takes away from putting them in a certain genre of.
I got you. Get some out the box.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of diversify colors too. Like, this is a yellow person, this is a pink person. Sometimes they're brown, sometimes they're not meant to have an ethnicity. They're red, they're green.
I like this. The pastels actually, like, if you view it on my camera, it actually looks like it's almost glowing.
Yeah.
So it does give it a nice effect. This one's a little bit different than the first three that we've seen. It was.
Yeah, this one actually started, if you look behind, there was a print. They were all red. It was done with printmaking, with a holograph. And then, so then I printed some more on here with, like, you know, really kind of elementary materials, like some sort of foam shape that I had laying around. This one was done, the beginning of it was done many years ago, and then I sort of went back into it and made it a little more abstract, a little more wild. I love this piece, and at home this piece I'm attached to, I have a nice white frame for it that looks really nice.
Is that something that you normally do, or is it something like this piece, like revisiting it after a while?
I do. People should take it off my hands if they like it. I do revisit. I can get in that mode where all of a sudden I pick something up. This was something else. It's like, I need a canvas. This other one is old. It didn't sell, so I'm painting over it. For sure, that happens.
No, I just asked that because I know a lot of artists view the virtual museum, and that's something that sometimes a lot of artists go through, but a new artist might find it frustrating.
Right.
Because they're like, I'm not finishing this right away. But
Well,
it's something that a lot of artists go
I
through.
used to do that a lot. I don't anymore. I struggled in early years because we talked about it before. I came from a 3D background. I was a welder, and jewelry was what I did in college. And so painting and drawing came after I didn't have any outlet, and then I started to do it. I don't know how great I was at it, and I was really insecure about it. But then in teaching, I'm a teacher. For 17 years, I had to draw so quickly. And teaching drawing and teaching painting, I started to, I don't know, develop confidence in it and strength, you know, just from doing it every day. So now I practice it like I do a sport, and I work really hard at it. So I try to just let it be, like, be good with it, and it's done now. I don't obsess anymore. I try not to. On bigger pieces, I do sometimes take a long time, but sometimes you just have to learn when to stop.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because a lot of artists out there get frustrated, and sometimes they give up because they don't really. They think they're supposed to be producing things overnight, and a lot of times it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to get into that conversation.
I work a little bit overnight. I could draw, 6 pieces a day.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this piece? Because I know, like, these are some of the pieces that have been popping up on your page recently.
Yeah, these are newer pieces that I've been doing. I've been having a lot of fun with just drawing the faces and thinking about the different sides of a person and how they are all in us in one way. So it's sort of like, what's the face of the front, but you have sort of grouchy person on the side. And just what are you seeing? Do you see her first, or do you see the side first, and how do they blend together, and to still kind of represent the balance between the two?
No, I like that, because it's so many different sides to people. It's just like, when you go to work, you're a different person than when you're with your family, you're a different person than when you're with your friends. So I think that actually translates through the art.
Yeah, and even just at the same time, like you're putting on a face to feel happy, to get through the day, but like, what are all the other voices that are going on in your head? What's that chip on your shoulder all day? And we're multifaceted human beings, and trying to find the balance in the center. So and I love cubism and surrealism, so that's kind of playing a part in there too. And and having fun with, like, my heroes of art and technique.
We're gonna go through a couple other pieces. These are all paper pieces you did. So the first one.
Yeah,
was
so these
actually-
are all like high quality paper pieces, watercolor paper. I use a lot. I'm a big fan of Stonehenge cotton papers.
The good stuff.
Yeah, I try to use good paper because otherwise, you know, my sketchbooks are still pretty quality good paper. And that one up there, that's really talking about like movement, and I am feeling always like on edge or like not knowing what to do with yourself. So like, and your legs are sort of disappearing as they go.
And even the colors with that, like, I noticed you use a lot of different colors. Like, is it a certain mode or mood that you're
I
in?
think it's just sort of whatever, what I feel like at that time. It's like sort of like what I pick up right away. You know, what's around, you know, or like the mood. Lately I've been using a lot of that brown and red. Like, that red has really been inspirational right now. So I do use a lot of pinks and a lot of greens, but lately a lot of browns and reds.
Does red stand for something? 'Cause I know like with certain artists, like red may be a passion color. Sometimes it might be a stress.
I don't know, I just am feeling it lately. Like that red and gray, it's just something that I've been attracted to. You know, I like the deepness of it and its pull. But, you know, sometimes I use pink and green. Or blue. Like, I mean, it changes. I think my work, if you see like my page and my portfolio, it's always evolving. It's sort of like, you know, I carry these figures